Okay, let me just preface this video by saying that this whole thing is not shot like this. I'm currently recording this on an iPad Pro, as you can see from that camera angle up there, to tell you that this microphone has USB-C. And the reason I wanted to boast about that is because I've been in so many situations recently where I have needed to record a voiceover for a video or a TikTok or something like that, and I just haven't had good enough audio. I couldn't access my PC, right? This microphone solves that problem permanently for me, and I love that. You can connect it to any device that has USB or USB-C and it will work absolutely perfectly. I think it sounds pretty damn good, but naturally it has a couple of downsides and we're going to be diving into those. But for now, let me know what you think. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of basic tests just so you can get an idea of what the audio sounds like. Now, naturally, this is all coming straight through the AM8, and I think it's a pretty damn good microphone for the price. The issue that I have with it, and I say issue very sparingly, is the fact that you have to be up close and personal, devouring the microphone in order to get the best quality out of it. Because as soon as you step back and you get to around about, I'd say 10 to 15 centimeters away from the mic, you're averaging between -20 to -15 decibels at the range that I'm speaking, which is a normal speaking volume, obviously. But when you get up close and personal, it sounds so good. Like the tones are so clear and so rich, and it doesn't matter whether you're speaking in a very deep voice or whether you go a high pitch and you're emphasizing all those words and you're doing a more feminine kind of vibe. It all flows naturally, and I love that. But let's get the boring stuff out of the way. Let's do some plosive tests. I'm going to be doing them with the filter on and then doing them with it off. Katie likes cookies. Tell Ted to try. Peter has a puppy. Zippers are easy to close. It's worth noting that right now the microphone is on max volume. You cannot turn this up anymore, and of course, as you can see, it's being recorded through USB-C. We'll get into the XLR stuff later because I have some things to say about that. Nothing bad, but it's kind of surprising. Now let's take this off. You know what? I think the microphone actually looks pretty damn cool without the filter on. And you know what I'm realizing as I'm recording this, right? It's when you take this off, the microphone can hear you so much better because this is a very thick filter. So when you get kind of close and personal, you actually have to kind of monitor your voice a little bit better. And I'm very close right now. Katie likes cookies. Tell Ted to try. Peter has a puppy. Zippers are easy to close. Just gonna pop you back on, sir. Thank you very much. So I'll leave that down to your interpretation, what you think sounds best. And again, like even coming up close now, that is a massive difference. Let me quickly take this off and I'll speak at the exact same volume the whole time, and you can get an idea of how much of a difference that actually makes without the filter on. Like I'm seeing an extra 5 decibels of volume just by taking this off. Don't get me wrong, it does a great job with the plosives and stuff like that. It really does help, but that's a big difference, man. Okay, so right now I've actually got some background noise playing. It's just a bunch of people talking in a cafe, stuff like that, and it's coming through my speakers. The question is, how well can you hear that? Because for me, it's overwhelmingly loud. One thing I will say with this mic, it does a fantastic job at isolating sound. Like if I move this away a little bit, yes, it's obviously going to be close to my face. It's directed at me. I don't think you're going to be able to hear much of that background noise. Even let me turn it up a little bit, and this is going to be super loud for me. I don't know how well you can hear that. Let me point the microphone now towards the speaker. And then we're back at me. I still don't think that is going to massively impact this recording. You'll be able to hear it, of course, but is it going to be super crazy distracting? I don't think so. And then back to me. The noise isolation, I think this is the best microphone by Fifine. This does a pretty damn good job, but this is something else. Okay, so I plugged in the XLR microphone, and what you're going to be noticing as I switch from the XLR to the USB is that the XLR is actually somewhat quieter than the USB. It's marginal, but the question is, can you hear a difference in quality? Because I can't really. Now, I'm not an audiophile by any means. I don't meticulously go in and focus on minute details, but You would think that using XLR is going to improve the quality or at least the volume, and I don't really get that with this. Bear in mind that both settings are completely maxed out. I cannot turn the mixer up anymore, which is the Fifine SC3. Yes, you could buy a more expensive one. The SC3 is notoriously a cheaper mixer, but it does the job and lets me use XLR. Maybe when I go in and I play with the recording and stuff like that, I'll be able to hear a bit more of a difference. But as it stands now, like, I don't really see any benefits to paying for a mixer and the XLR cable that doesn't come with the microphone, by the way, and going through that whole process when USB-C works perfectly fine. Now, what I am going to do is go entirely through XLR, play with the EQ settings, set up some compressors, things that make the microphone suit my voice a little bit more, and show you what it's capable of when you invest a little bit more time into this thing. Boom. Okay, so I have finished setting everything up, and I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the quality of this microphone itself. Let me know if you like the EQ settings and stuff. By the way, I'm happy to make a video showcasing how you can sort of fine-tune the microphone to your voice, because this thing, it's got so much potential, right? And it's so good for voiceovers and recording. But the thing that puts me off it is how big and bulky and distracting it is. From a content creator standpoint, right? If you're live streaming or you want to be the focal point of the video, I want you to be looking at my face when I'm talking. This thing is a massive distraction, whether it's the RGBs when you've got it through USB mode, or the fact that I've got it in bright white. Imagine having this on a boom arm and you're just holding it up like this, and like, realistically, what are you looking at right now? Are you looking at the microphone, or are you looking at the gorgeous, hunky, sexy, glorious Viking sitting in front of you? I think I know the answer. It's probably this thing. There's also the fact that if you take away all of the EQs and you go back to just this basic out-of-the-box version, it is very quiet. Even now, as I'm recording less than the 3-4 centimeters away from my face, it's still hitting negative 10 decibels maxed out through XLR. If I move away and I talk at a normal volume like you would if you're just playing a game, live streaming and stuff like that, like, this is a huge difference. I'm hitting negative 20 decibels. Fifine microphones are notoriously quiet, but this is probably the most dramatic representation of that I've seen. Now, should that put you off buying the microphone? I don't think so. I think with the physicality and how distracting this thing is to have in front of you to look at, and how quiet it is, I think this microphone is Fifine's recording microphone for voiceovers and things like that. If you aren't trying to be the center of attention, you just want that crispy, clear audio regardless of your voice tone and things like that, this is an absolute bargain, right? But for live streaming and things where you need your audience to pay attention to you, I think you could do better going for something like Fifine's K688, because it blends into the background. If this is up against your face, which are you more likely to look at right now? Is it going to be the K688? Or is it going to be this one? I've made a video on this, by the way, so if you want to check out the audio quality, I may do a comparison video in the next couple of weeks, but this is incredible, and it's less distracting than this, but it's also more expensive. So you win some, you lose some. This guy right here, this is the Fifine Tank 3. They've sent me all these microphones, by the way. Lovely company, wonderful people to work with as well. But even this one, it's not as distracting to look at. You can happily just sit with this one off to the side doing your live stream, and people are actually going to be able to pay attention to you rather than the pick-me girl that is sitting here wanting your attention, needing to be close and personal with you. The AM8 is like a very clingy, possessive girlfriend. She needs that intimacy to be able to get the most from her. If that's what you're into, you go for it, boo-boo. You make that happen. But yeah, I think that this is the voiceover microphone, the recording one, the one that makes everything sound beautiful and crispy, whereas this one is better suited to live streams. It can just blend into the background, and this one here is better for podcasts. Hey, it's me, Mr. iPad guy again. That camera is still rolling. We've been here for, the last 10 minutes, man. It's been a trip. While recording this video and speaking about the audio quality and everything else, I forgot to actually give a breakdown on the build and the features of this microphone, which I think makes it kind of unique as well. So I'll give you a quick rundown, as I definitely don't want you to forget about them. We've got a touch-sensitive mute button right here. So if I tap this, that's pretty handy to have. But the weird thing is with that is that it's like, depending on which direction the microphone is facing, you either can't see when you're muted, which has actually happened to me once while trying to record this, or you won't have access to the knobs and the buttons. So either way you lose. Bit of a strange design choice there, but it works. It's fully functional. Then if we flip her over, there's actually two knobs right here. The first one is for audio gain. So this controls how loud the microphone is. And if we turn that down using one finger, because this is very hard to do while holding an iPad. Stop judging me. Okay, I can feel your eyes piercing through my skin. There you go. This is the worst example ever, but you can turn the knob and it makes it quiet. But because this microphone is so quiet, you're going to find yourself with that pretty much 100% all the time. And then underneath that, you have a monitoring knob. I don't like saying the word knob as much as I do in these microphone reviews. There is another knob for you to play with. It's also got a touch capacitive button up here that changes the RGB lights when plugged in through USB-C. Again, the lights and stuff like that don't work through XLR. You need to have this cable plugged in. Even if you're not using it as an audio source, you're going to need it plugged in order to make it all work properly. Build quality, it's alright. The majority of the microphone is plastic. If you take the filter off, it's got like a little metal cage protecting the diaphragm and whatnot. It's very heavy to hold. So like in this situation where I'm holding the microphone and have been for 10 minutes straight, you will have some muscle growth. So one thing you may want to consider is, can your microphone arm hold this guy? If not, check out Fifine's BM88, I think it's called. I made a video on it. It's a heavy duty, low profile boom arm, super cool. It would definitely hold this without any problems. And it does come with a stand, which is really nice. This is the most unprofessional review I've ever made, but I'm trying to make it more personal so you guys can kind of, there we go. So this guy just comes off at the bottom, little base plate. And there's actually two little threads in here for different types of, different sizes of microphone arm. That's my initial thought. And like I say, I may do a breakdown video if that's something you want to see. But overall, I am thoroughly impressed with the quality of this microphone. Once again, I love that it's so neutral sounding. I love that even when you get super close and personal, you get that wonderful, rich audio. Definitely gives you something to think about. Ultimately, great microphone, better for voiceovers. If you don't mind it being in your shop, that's up to you. But me personally, I think that I would rather pay a little bit more, go for something like this, so that it's not distracting your viewers. But with that said, I think that this may actually be my new voiceover microphone, because I've been using the Tank 3 and I love it. It suits my voice very well, but I don't know, I seem to be getting along with this one. We seem to have a good relationship going on. She's needy, but she's lovely. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Fifine, thank you so much for sending not only this out to me, but the mixer as well. It is the SC3, so if you're looking for a budget mixer, you're getting started with XLR, that could be a really good option for you. So subscribe to the channel if you want to be updated when that video goes live. The week after that, I'll probably do a comparison video between all of my microphones that Fifine have sent me and a couple of others like the Elgato Wave 3, which is an incredible microphone and comes with some great software. The software I'm actually using for the EQ settings with this microphone. And as always, if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I'll be floating around answering anything you may want to know about this guy, XLR setups. I'm your tech support, okay? That's how I want you to think of me. I love your faces. Thank you so much for watching this video. You're amazingly beautiful, and I will catch you in the next one.